Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and I've got to start out by saying that this was not how today was supposed to go. Oh, my camera also. That is not how my camera is supposed to go. Hold on. Fine. The winter event is coming. Now, the winter event is probably coming sooner than you would expect. The winter event is often the longest event. CCP likes to put it on and then like go on vacation. Yeah, I love expert systems being given out during events. Okay, so let's talk about the winter event. Hold on a second. My music is too loud. I'm also doing the inactive client muting thing, so hold on. That seems good. Is that you, Lampa? I don't know. All right, so, all right, we have stuff added to the hobo, wherever I am, Singularity. We have the skins that are coming out, the accelerators, and the boosters ready to go. And they all but confirm kind of that this event is going to be more or less close to last year's event. So we'll be looking at that too. So before I show you these skins, though, the Aurora Universalis is something that's given away basically every year, right? They look pretty cool. They have this green to purple with some pink stripes, and it has this particle effect come off of it that's kind of designed to represent the Aurora Borealis, right? They look pretty cool. And they've given them out for a lot of different for a lot of different ships, because every year they come out with a new set. Now, they used to give them out as like an item to redeem, but now they apply directly to your account, just like previous or other login reward skins. For the most part, they could do it differently this year, but they did that last year. So let's assume that logging in during this time is going to be the only way to do it, or to get these. And also, before we look at these, I want to say that, like, things on Singularity, of all the things on Singularity, the thing that is wrong the most is skins. And more importantly, the particle effects on skins, right? And we're going to see a lot of examples of that here. So one of the things I noticed is that they don't have any... the normal the particle effect that we just saw on the Drake, right? That Aurora Borealis effect. However, as we'll see, there's a lot of wrong effects being shown. So this is a very common thing with the skins while they're on Singularity, and they generally get fixed by the time they go into Tranquility. I'm not sure why. There must be something particularly fiddly about how the skins relate to the particle effects being shown. But yeah, so for now, let's just assume that it will have the Aurora Borealis effect, not the effects that we see, and not the no effects that we see. All right. Hey, what's up, Johnny? So first we have the Krur. So we have Krur, Worm, Succubus, Dramiel, Daredevil, Astero. So we have and Skybreaker, Damavik, Garmer. So every pirate frigate. Every pirate frigate? Sure, we'll go with that. Every standard pirate frigate. Then we have Sacrilege, Cerberus, Munin, which is the Hax, and the Ishtar down here. And then Armageddon, Scorpion, Dominix, and Typhoon. One of the battleships for each race. I I made the joke that like I expected us to get the Navy ships in Aurora Borealis or Aurora Universalis skins this year because it like made sense. They've been wanting to highlight it. We actually got them today in this login reward, but I do find it kind of funny that CCP is giving the Aurora Universalis skin to the Munin now after all it's been through. But let's look at these. Here's the Kruger. I think it looks all right. The Kruger is actually just kind of a really nice skin for ship for skins, to be honest. It's got a really nice design. Blood Raider ships have such a nice design overall, actually, in my opinion. The Worm. Now, I think no. I could have sworn there was a Universalis for the Merlin. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the Worm got it before the Merlin, huh? The Succubus, the Sky Beetle, now in teal, in turquoise. We're getting to the Skybreaker. No Pacifier. Pacifier is not a T1. It's also not a pirate frigate. Dramiel. I actually really like this one. The skin actually, like, it's so interesting how the same skin kind of like feels different on other ships. I also really like the fact it might be hard to see, but the modeling, the texture effect, the spots of the Dramiel is still visible just barely within the skin. You can see that the spots are teal and the non-spots are like a slight purple. Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, last year was the pirate cruisers. Good point. Okay. Daredevil. My favorite webbing ship for hauling. Astero. The Astero has just too many good skins. That's pretty much the problem as far as I'm concerned. Skybreaker. So it goes from being this kind of... It's actually close. It's close to Blue Star Defender. But it's got the purple stripes and the purple back. Yeah, I know that that's the word, but I don't know how to pronounce it such a way that doesn't sound like I'm talking about modeling as in the physical structure. Anywho, Damovic. I'm always happy when the Trig ships get skins because the Trig ships have a lot of really nice skins, but they're all so expensive because they came from the invasion year. So a lot of people feel really put out by that. Garmer. Now this is pink. Like I'm not sure why the reflection map is so like much more on the Garmer than other ships. Probably thanks to this, but it's even shinier than that. Holy crap! Yeah. Here you go. But yeah, it's a very shiny pink. It's worth noting that there is no Heart Surge for the Garmr at this time, so this is the closest to a Heart Surge skin that you could get. The Sacrilege. Now this is another one I think that the Tech 1, doesn't the Tech 1 have? Yeah, see? So the Tech 1 has the Aurora on it. But for some reason, this one doesn't yet. Which is kind of weird because usually it would have it, like, even if it doesn't have it, because showing the wrong one on these ships is very common. Cerberus. I also think it's funny that, like, the other low-key thing about that change is it is kind of suggesting once again that the Trig ships and the Edencom ships are pirate ships, as it were, which is kind of wrong, but, you know, whatever. Either way, Cerberus. Cerberus is another one of those ships that has quite a few, actually, pretty decent skins. I like the Blaze because it's in honor of their artist that passed away. Dragon Phoenix was really good. I don't know why I don't have it. Looks good in Ghostbird. It's got Vital Shift. It's got a Yule Festival if you pay too much. You know, it's got skins. And the Munin. So this is an example of the wrong particle effect. So you see this Kumok on the top? That's actually from Freedom Revolution. See, it's not there. It is there. So I imagine that this particle effect will be replaced with the Aurora Universalis, which looks like that. And the Ishtar. Here's a more subtle one. This green light stood out to me. It's normally not there. But it is on the Yule Star skin. So I think that that's where that got from. So I imagine it's not going to have that, probably. And it will have the Aurora effect, potentially. Have I caveated that enough? And have it look like that. Next is the battleships. So we have the Armageddon. And this one also has the wrong one. It's got the red claw sable effect on the back. Scorpion. This one also has the red claw sable effect. This looks fabulous, doesn't it? Like, straight up fabulous. Can you imagine jamming people out in this thing? That's going to be kind of fun. Dominix. So this one looks like it would be right, but I don't think it is. Because this effect, if you see here, there is the play button there, and there's this vent here. On the normal ones, there isn't a vent. So let's identify where those are from. The play button is, of course, the more obvious one. It comes from the Galnet Dreamcast skin. Boom, there it is. And the vents come from Interstellar Convergence. So I imagine that neither of those will exist, and instead we'll get the Aurora effect. Oh, also that effect off there, I think, is also from it's from one of the other two. Typhoon. Once again, the that's the convergence. Well, that looks pretty cool. I like this one. And we already looked at the Ishtar. So that's all of them. So that's the Aurora Universalis skins. Chances are some of them will be login reward, some of them will be event track. So next we have the Cerebral Accelerators. We have the Extended Brain Freeze, which is 3 days at 6 points per. Now remember, this can get doubled by having Biology 5. So this can be 6 days with 6 points each. The Potent is 1 to 2 days at 8 points each. And the Basic is 1 to 2 days at 4 points each. They have really nerfed the amount of points that these things give, man. But, you know, it's fine. And then there are several other boosters. We have the Sunyata booster, which is a reduction in module heat damage, which is pretty cool. That plus a T3 means overheat all the things all the time. Nirvana is plus to shield hit points, with the top being plus 8% shield hit points, which remember, your shield hit points also impacts your shield recharge rate. So passive tanks become even more disgusting during this time. Rapture booster is capacitor recharge time. So more cap, faster cap. And then Afterburner speed boost is the Satana. Hey, thanks for that. And the Vitarka is energy turret damage. Lasers. The Manasikara, we'll go with that. Tracking speed, energy turret tracking speed. Oh, and there's a level 4. They put in a level 4. So, oh, Jesus. Reduction of 20% heat, 10% additional shields, 10% capacitor recharge time, 20% afterburner speed boost, or 10% energy turret damage, or 20% energy turret tracking speed. So, and they expire on February 9th. All of them do. So these things are going to be very valuable. They'll probably be drops in the event sites. Some of these are going to be absolutely insane while they exist, right? Like, my Paladin's going to be really good. Every shield super is going to be just that much stronger. That has it, you know, whatever. So these are going to be pretty in-demand boosters, especially the higher tier, most likely. And if they're not in demand, then people are making probably a critical mistake. There's also two new kinds of fireworks, maybe, but we can't see those until we can use them. And that's it. So those come from the winter event, which is... So this is last year's, right? Yeah. So we have the Chilling Spree, where you hit people with snowballs for SP. There's login rewards for 13 days leading up to Christmas. So yeah, that's the thing. So the Christmas event is the 13 days leading up to Christmas, and then it goes on through the new year. So I'm not sure if that entire time is actually like the event with the event sites, but I'm pretty sure it is. So if you think about it, that's like the 12th, right? Right around then, the 12th to the 4th. There is also Abyssal Proving Grounds, which we don't have that yet. The Yule skins. Now, these Yule skins, for those of you who don't know, I call this my ugly Christmas sweater. So right now, this skin looks kind of plain. It's just red in the front and white in the back with some green lights. However, 13 days before Christmas, a new particle effect will appear on top that is these two bars, and it fills up with blocks all the way up until it's full on the day of Christmas. And on the day of Christmas, another green light appears in the front, the Yule star. And it stays there until usually until the event is completely over, so like early next year. So it's pretty cool. These are premium skins. You have to pay for them on the cash shop and all that stuff. But it's a fun little tradition if that's something you like. Blah blah blah. Other skins, they have the Frostline? No, it's the man, I can't remember its name. Hold on, what is it? Operation Permafrost, I guess. Make any purchase on the Eve merch store and receive Operation Permafrost skin bundle, which these were from a previous event. So I'm not sure. There's no promise that that part will return. But as far as the event sites go, we can look at the Eve Uni page for last year. There is... So basically the way that the winter event works is that there are these metaliminal storms. Metaliminal storms are these effects that normally only affect in nullsec, and they move around, and they have a particular effect on everybody, like a weather effect on everything within it, right? And the metaliminal storms in nullsec can be quite impactful. One of them makes it so you can't cloak at all within those systems, for example. And there's some other extra sites and opportunities in them and all that stuff. However, these are a little bit different. There is lots of these little storms throughout New Eden. According to this from last year, there was 14 in high sec, 5 in low sec, and 14 in null sec. Every day they move around. I think it's one jump. They tend to try not to backtrack on themselves. Now, the thing about the high sec ones is that at least 2 of them, I believe, are in areas of high sec that are non-contiguous with main high sec. So like places like Solitude, right? So and that's important for what comes up from this. While in the storm, you have a reduction in overheat damage and a reduction in your thermal resistance. An addition, an increase in your thermal resistance, and a reduction in your overheat damage. In other words, how much your modules take for overheating. And where was I going to go with this? So that affects everybody within the systems. And there are the special sites within those storms. So the sites that are there are combat. There's a high security, null security, and low security sites, with the low security being the hardest sites. There are these ice fields. Inside of the ice fields, you go in and mine the ice and then deposit it into this box. It's fading volatile ice. And so you mine it and then you turn it in right there for a reward. And it's also, one of the track goals, which we'll talk about. And the only things that can get into the ice belts are kind of these mining ships, right? So mining and haulers. Then there's also level 4 data sites that have 3 different, once again, there's 3 different difficulties, with the hardest one being in low sec. Now, and then there's the login rewards, right? So you can see like they got the Universalis skins and all that stuff. And the track gives other Universalis skins and cerebral accelerators. I imagine we will get the combat boosters mixed in there too this year, probably with less skins, it looks like. And then here's the big key to it, okay? There are new filaments that are only available during this time. Those filaments lead you to one of the volatile ice fields. So what this means is that this is the only time of year that there is a filament that leads you directly to high-sec. That's why it's important that some of the high-sec storms are not part of the contiguous high-sec. Because if they were, then you could just activate one of these things to guarantee that you're going to make it to high-sec. In this case, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get to the high-sec that is useful to you, right? However, this does mean also that if you're interested in getting into the content, you don't need to travel to it. Whether it be nullsec, highsec, or whatever, you and your friends can all be teleported in to do this. So we did this many times where we would just get together our group of like 5 or 10 people, and we'd take a Blitzen 5 or a Rudolph 10. Sorry, yeah. And ride those in to lowsec. And I ran around in a Stratios, so that way I could scan down the stuff and hack things. And I also, it was a Newt tackle Stratios. So if I could catch something, then we could catch something. And meanwhile, everybody else roamed around, and they would do the combat sites together. And I would stay like one jump ahead and be kind of scouting around and all that stuff. And we killed a Praxis. Like, I remember one time we literally just jumped in, and there was a Praxis there, and we're like, hey, let's get him. And we did. And so, you know, you never know what's going to happen with these things. There's also these the Yule lads have their own gifts. The can't remember what they call them in Eve, but these are actually based on an actual Icelandic tradition. Am I missing anything? Yeah, it works great for evac from null. That's true. Do you know if the winter filaments will work in a wormhole after they updated the other filaments to no longer work in a wormhole? I assume that they won't. You'll have to just jump out of your wormhole and then jump from there. That's my assumption. It would be. I mean, maybe it could go either way, but the thing about event stuff, as we've seen, is that these events are allowed to kind of break the rules. It would make it so that for that time period, it was technically possible to evac your stuff that way. That said, I think that I would chances are it's going to be a no, right? Because the only filaments that work now are proving conduits and normal abyssal conduits. Hey, thanks, Zendoria. I'm glad to hear it, and we will continue to try to make videos come out at a pretty regular basis. All right, so does that wrap it up for the winter event and predictions about it? We will probably cover the winter event a little bit more. Oh, one last thing, and this is for you guys, just so you can seem smart to everybody, because that's why we learn about the lore, right? So that way we can actually people. So if anybody complains about snow in space during the wormhole event or during this event, make sure to point out to them that actually what's happening is that the metaliminal storm is creating trillions of little micro wormholes and sucking the thermal energy out of known space and drawing it into abyssal dead space, as opposed to the other metaliminal storms, which are more things spilling out into K-space. So actually, that isn't snow. Those are just what trillions of tiny little micro wormholes look like. Ha! That's true, by the way. All right. Let's see. Next Actually, I'm going to do an ad break before we can jump into the next thing. All right. Let's see. I think I started one. Yeah, just started. Cool. Oh, I should have told everybody to not skip it. Boo! Yeah, it is a good explanation. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it while everybody's out and about. Hey. Yeah. Since their emergence in August of YC122, so 2020, most research into metalaminal storms has indicated that they are associated with the changes to the local cluster's space-time topology caused by Triglavian stellar manipulation. Certain storms appear to represent a leakage of abyssal dead space, environment radiation, and particles into normal space. However, Frostline's theories are suggesting that ice storms may represent a localized reduction in thermal energy, potentially caused by energy draining into abyssal dead space through quadrillions of microscopic wormholes. There you go. What about the not so snow? Look, man, I don't want to hear about it. Well, the other thing is that it is actually absorbing the thermal energy, right? So it could very well be that these structures that likely have some sort of atmosphere around them because people live in them for a lot of the time, have condensation. Now, why it's only on the top, that we leave to historians to figure out. I want to believe that the Sancha just do that in their sites just to mess with people. Like, can you imagine, like, really, we think that Sancha's heartless, but we also don't appreciate their wonderful Christmas decorations that they put out every single year. And you guys just insult it because there's no snow in space. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. I just wanted to finish this with a bit of a news. I have begun reading the chronicle, or rather the novella of Theodicy on stream. We got about halfway through last time, and you can expect to see chapter by chapter clips of that available on my YouTube over the course of the next few days, and I will be streaming the second half very shortly. Unfortunately, me and my son have both been sick over the last week, which is why you've seen such delays, and I really appreciate all of your guys' patience. I really want to thank everyone for watching these shows and distributing them, showing them around, and getting other people involved in the EVE lore, as it is both intensely fascinating and useful for knowing what is to come. I also want to give an extra special thanks to my following supporters: Abyssus, Arydanika the Queen, Kuhn, BlackRoseNoble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, Golden Age Stories, MidnightSpaceMonkey, NotJustFun, Seedsaplenty, Serenalen with No Eyes, Syliana Vel'ash, Talking in Stations, Nephilim, Grendel, and Zaul Nex, as well as my Immortal tier supporters, Ebo1337 and Rid. Thank you all so much. And once again, I have been Ashtarothi, and until next time, I will see you in space.